All right, we are live. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining. We are live again with another market review session. I have Bits of Wealth co hosting it with me, and just wanted to throw it out there that anything that we discuss here today is not financial advice. We are just going to be doing some market review purely for educational purposes and for fun. So we'll go ahead and get started. Bits, how are you doing today?
I am doing really well.
Awesome. Looks like your longs are doing incredible so far.
Yeah, they did. So far, I've had two really good like swings in a row. You know, I had that short from like 68 and down to 63, 62, and then was able to now take it back up to the same level again. So yeah, that's been
Yeah.
fun.
Absolutely. No, that's incredible. If you want to bring up your charts, I'm going to start
Okay.
posting it. Um, let's see. Yeah. Oh, wow. It auto posted today.
No, it did
Awesome.
not.
It did. Oh,
Did it
on
really?
my page it did. Yeah.
Oh shoot, it did. Okay, they fixed it. All right.
They fixed it. So I'll
Well,
just
that
go and
works.
share it in a bunch of groups and yeah.
Super easy. Cool. Well, my screen should be sharing now. Let me just throw it up. Bam. All right, cool. So while Lady Trader is out spreading the word that we're live, um, yeah, let's talk about this range on BTC here. Um, so this was essentially, the short was I can't remember if I took it here at 67.8, I think is what it was. So maybe it was like around here. But that was a short play, and now also got long exposure around here. I believe it was like 60, close to about 63 and change, so about there. Now played it to the upside again, but you will notice, guys, we're back here near this previous high, and it is selling off a little bit here, which tends to happen, right? You run into a prior high, initial reaction a lot of times is to kind of reject around that high, and then you look for a pullback. At this point, I will say I am looking for the potential of a higher low because we've now got a higher high, right? And I think it would make sense that we potentially are setting up for a higher low somewhere between this high and this low. We'll dive into that a little bit on some of the lower time frames. And I might be willing to play like a hedge short here. I know I'm going to hedge short, but I guess what I'm saying is I might be willing to hold that for the potential that it doesn't just find a higher low and it actually ends up going lower. So, but I'll talk about both of those scenarios. Really, the main thing, and I think we covered it on Monday, is I was looking at these daily ranges, right? And this is the alpha that helped me identify this setup. It's not really my framework. I think I've shared it in the past. It's not really my framework. It's a friend's framework. I mean, he learned it, from someone else as well, but he's been using it really profitably. And what it is just identifying these high time frame reversals, right? A high time frame reversal after a sweep of liquidity. So, for example, let me show you here. You had this daily candle, right? Big red directional daily candle. I'm going to mark out the low of that candle, and I'm going to mark out the high of that candle. So that was your daily low, daily high. This middle candle, this is your manipulation candle, your reversal candle that kind of takes liquidity before flipping it the other way. If you notice, like the thing here to watch, at least what I'm picking up so far, and again, this is not my framework. I'm studying this actively, and I'm starting to apply it a little bit to how I trade. So I'm still very much in a learning process here, but I'm gonna learn this live with you guys as this goes. So if I make mistakes, we'll learn from it. But this candle took out that low, right? So you had a daily sweep of previous day low, but notice that it closed within that previous day candle, right? So the close wasn't below that, the close was within that. That was the first signal I was looking for, and I've talked about it over the last like 2 or 3 days nonstop on spaces and on streams. I wanted to see this daily candle close within this one here, right? After we kind of were watching for the potential of this setup to form. And then as the new daily candle opens, a lot of times it has like an initial little dump or manipulation, if you want to call it that, to the downside. This one was very muted, very soft, did not breach this initial candle's low. You'll notice that, right? So it didn't come down below the low of that initial candle. And then so you kind of expect expansion to the upside then as the reversal. And your initial target is really just the top of that candle number one. So it's a 1, 2, 3 candle framework. And let me give you another example of where this also played out, right? If you notice here, similar example. You had a similar example here in this 3 candle setup here, right? What did you have? Initial candle down, mark the low. Let's mark the high of that candle as well, okay? You had your middle manipulation candle, candle number 2, sweeps the lows, closes within the range of candle 1. Very interesting, right? And then the third candle doesn't go below candle 1's low, right? In this case, it didn't go below that. And then where did it expand to? It expanded back to the top of that initial candle. Okay. Let me give you another example. Again, here, same thing. Initial candle down. Candle 2 sweeps the low, but closes within the range of candle 1. Where does price ultimately go? Price moves back up to the top of that initial candle range. So we've now got 3 examples of this at play here, just on BTC, just inside this greater range, right? And so you can scale this in and out. Like you can zoom out to a 3-month, a 6-month, find those ranges, and then find the same thing. So I'm trying to apply this a little bit more to how I'm identifying the levels where I expect price to go to, like on a mid to high time frame. And then on the lower time frames, I'm exploring how to enter those trades. But now you've had this move here. So now I would zoom out, right? So now that BTC has done this move here on the daily, I zoom out and I'm like, okay, is there a weekly range? There is, right? So we've got this big weekly candle here. Everything since then is inside of that. Haven't really got a break of this weekly candle range yet. So I'm kind of watching this. This is like the next range I'm watching. I want to see, does price either go to the upside, sweep that range, and then I expect to move to the bottom of the range, or is it going to sweep the bottom of the range and go to the high? So you can see quickly how you can kind of start to play with these and look for just these big candles that kind of give you like a range within a range. So, but that's basically what I'm doing. So I would say, like with BTC, here's an example that I'm actively watching for right now on the monthly. So on the monthly, this was my previous monthly candle, right? So if I mark out low of the previous month, high of the previous month, okay? If somehow in the next 3 days, this candle was to close, I don't think it's likely, by the way. I don't think it's likely, but I'm just as an example. If this current monthly candle was to close above the low of the previous month, right? So if it closes inside of the range of the previous month, I am very much expecting that there's going to be a move near the high of the previous month as well. I don't think it's likely, again, because then we would need BTC to pump, another 10% or so to close within that. Could it happen? Sure. Is it likely? I don't think so. You'd have to be above 75K in the next 3 days. I don't know how likely that is. But if it was to do that, you'd have nothing but a wick below the prior monthly candle, and you've got a lot of liquidity to the upside that it could come look for. Same thing on like a 3-month candle. If this 3-month candle, same framework, right? If in the next 3 months, well, you've got less. You've got a month and 7 days. If in the next month and 7 days, this was to close above previous quarterly candle, which is currently at 80K, then you'd have to ask yourself, is it going to go for the liquidity on the top side? Again, I don't think these are highly likely scenarios, but I'm just illustrating how that framework functions, just so you guys can understand what it was that I utilized to help me spot those. And it was the same setup across the board on everything that I looked at, right? So when I was looking at Cardano, it was the same thing. We were using that same framework on a 3-day or on a weekly, identifying the ranges, right? And just that's been my thesis. That's what I've shared with you guys, right? Is we swept the low of October candle. If it could get a monthly close above the low of October, which in 3 days, it looks like it's going to confirm, by the way. So here in 3 days, it looks like we're going to close within previous month range and also within this October range, and everything's been an inside bar since then. Then I'm looking for moves to the upside on Cardano. And on any of them that meet this criteria, I'd be looking for moves to the upside. You know, you'd want to get a little more clarity, obviously. So you're going to like zoom into different time frames to get different perspective there. But you know, I think it's very much possible. And again, on the 3 month, this is what it would look like on a 3 month for Cardano. And this is just an example. I'm not trying to show Cardano to you guys. I just want you guys to understand that this is a clean example of it. This 3 month candle in a month and 7 days, if it closes above this yellow line, which is the low of the previous quarter, which is at 0.2737, if it closes above that, there is a decent chance it's going to go to the top of the previous quarterly candle. It will do that. An example is here. Let me give you this example. This is an example of it right here. Quarterly down candle. Okay. The next quarter swept the low but closed inside of it. What happened the quarter after that? Liquidity swept to the upside. And it does this in both directions. You can find bullish examples of it. You can find bearish examples of it. You know, similar examples over here if you were to invert the chart, get them the other way. But yeah, it's a cool framework. I'm still studying it. I'm sure there's a lot more rules and context to it. I'm like probably oversimplifying what that is. And I might even be looking at some stuff that, you know, someone who's maybe a little more fluent in is going to be like, nah, that doesn't work like that. You know, you're missing this or you're missing that. But I found it interesting that I was so quickly able to identify 2 other examples of where something like that happened on BTC inside of this range, and it played out. And I actually shared it in a DM group with some people that are trading with me. I shared it in there, and I told them, look, I think this thing's going back to 67, 68. And I said that before this day even opened. So we were still down here at 63. And the reason I said that was this 3 candle fractal that I had seen happen 2 other times before inside that same range. So yeah, we got the move, guys. You know, like at this point, I am being a little bit cautious here. I'm not going to fight this kind of momentum, though. This is some nice volume coming in there. Very, very nice volume. And even if you start zooming in to lower time frames, it is undeniable that you are getting market structure shift. I shared this as well, right? Which is this is the current market structure. And you have to just recognize that we are getting these structure shifts here. Like this is, let me make sure I got it all highlighted here. Yep, there we go. I believe that was it. All right. So when you're looking at BTC, you know, you were having a series of lower highs and lower lows, right? Low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Uh-oh. Suddenly you had a higher high relative to this one. You are now also above the EMAs. And then you got a higher low. So now you have a confirmed internal uptrend inside of this bigger range. So now in the low time frames, you are now trending up. You had now confirmed that. Here you got a market structure shift, right? A break of structure. Why? Because this next move took out a previous high. It took out 2 highs actually here in this. And so you set a higher high again for the second time. And then you came down and you set your second higher low, which now sat on top of previous structure. And then you had expansion. You had expansion out. So yeah, don't fight this. Sometimes keeping it simple is where it's at. Even if you have a thesis of lower on the higher time frame, this is undeniable market structure. This is not my opinion. This is the fact on the chart, right? So we have to just read the facts. Just like when it's going down, you know, if you have lower lows, we have to read the facts that this was creating lower highs and lower lows. And you know, if you're counter trading that during here, you know, you were going counter trend trading in this internal structure, right? Even if the larger trend was down, you know, this had its own internal structure, very much so here. So right now, again, you're getting some a change in trend internally, and then now we've actually shifted a 4-hour level as well. So you've got a nice higher high here as well, which is why I would be personally looking for a higher low on a pullback. In my opinion, I'd be paying attention to trying to identify where in here. This is like what I'm going to spend the rest of the day is trying to figure out where on a pullback I suspect, or I would be paying attention for that higher low. Where does it make sense? I'll pull some fib levels. Obviously, I'm going to use my volume profile that I love to use. We'll look at some market structure stuff, but yeah, that's essentially what I'm going to be doing today is taking profits on longs off the lows. I think I shared with you guys that I had positions in Cardano. Sorry guys, I'm deleting and talking at the same time. Cardano, Litecoin, all of these got nice big moves, and it was all a similar setup. Solana, I did not take a trade on Solana, but I did share this one on actually on Mondays. I have a clip of it, Lady Trader, but on Monday's show that we did, right? I basically said, look, you've got a range on Solana, and I probably deleted it, but I'll share the clip after this. But I said, look, if this thing were to take the lows for whatever reason, I think it moves back to the top of the range. And this is exactly where we're at today, which is the top of the range, exactly where I said on Monday that we were likely to move if it was to sweep these lows. And so we got that. So I didn't take this trade, but it was one that we called out here on this show live in front of all of you guys, and it is recorded, and I'll share that clip afterwards. ADA, very, very similar type of move as well. Had a nice range. This was for me the bottom of the range. It didn't give another sweep like Sol. This was it. This one had a lot of reasons why I was paying attention to that move, and it's now at the top of the range, right? So these aren't necessarily areas where I'd be getting super bullish, and I do want to clarify that, right? So I would not be getting super bullish up here because we are near previous highs. There is the potential it goes back to the bottom of the range. That is just a reality. But I will say that on the higher time frames on some of these, I will be watching daily structure. And if we get a daily close and a daily move above these, then it does start to signal that, you are shifting that daily trend. You're now going to have a higher high on the daily here on this structure. And even this was a higher low, but we'll be looking for higher lows to see if this continues up a little bit. And ultimately, it can still get slapped down. It can still get slapped down at some big macro swing, and we can still get a big move down. This is still kind of my primary thought on all of this, that even with BTC, even though it looks really bullish right now, all the cycle deniers and the line drawer deniers, they're all going to start mocking bears pretty soon. Not yet. I think we have to give them a little bit more time to be right and get euphoric. But I think at some point, either near previous year low, which is a level we've talked about a lot, up here near 74, or even going as high as like up here into the 80s, I think at some point, they're going to start getting really, really euphoric about how they caught the super cycle, business cycle low and M2 low and all of this garbage that they're believing. And then that's when it'll roll over. So, but for now, look, just observe this daily trend on BTC would be what I would kind of say is, recognize that you had lower highs going into lower lows. You were kind of in a bit of a compression here. You kind of had equal lows there. But then you did set a lower low, and then we're now breaking that high currently. So we just got to observe, wait for a little bit more data. This will kind of tell us the trend here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, I played a few of these alts. I had a river position that I shared Sunday on the Ostium space from down here. That river trade, I TP'd on it very nicely. It's still in profit, still open. That one did pretty nice. I'm watching Pippin for a short. Let me give this one and then I'll end on this, Lady Trader. So check this out. Using that same framework that I was just sharing with you guys, notice that Pippin is actually, it's in the process of sweeping the previous quarter high, right? So Pippin is sweeping the high from the last quarter, and it's already kind of coming down a little bit. So I marked out previous quarter high, previous quarter low. Then I go down to monthly, and then I cleaned it up, and I'm like, okay, there's the high that I'm looking for. Here's a low I'm looking for. And if you notice, like it's having a hard time getting above that. I am wondering if Pippin is not topping sooner than later. And then you're looking down here. I mean, I'd be looking at like previous month, probably not this last month, but December lows right here will be interesting. Even these over here from November would be interesting. I don't know that it makes it all the way down here, but that is the previous quarter low. If it were to go all the way down there, and it is currently kind of struggling a little bit. It tried to push up twice now, hasn't been able to hold above it. I don't know. could Pippin be giving us a massive short opportunity up here? It is, it is kind of I don't know if it's a smaller micro cap, but it's a smaller cap, very illiquid, I would say, compared to the majors. A lot more risk, significant, guys. I cannot like emphasize that enough. This is so much more riskier than just playing like BTC or Solana or any of those other ones. But again, like if we can build a framework, if I can build a system, and if I can be systematic about this, if I can manage my risk and not try and YOLO this, can I potentially be catching a massive short on Pippin up here somewhere? If, maybe it has one more push, but at some point it'll roll over, it'll break some EMAs, it'll break some structure. And is there going to be like a massive trade like this for Pippin somewhere? To the downside. Very well could be. This is crazy if it went all the way down here. Absolutely crazy. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that's it, Lady Trader. I've yapped enough.
Perfect. No, this was a great take, Bits. Thank you so much for that. I can go ahead and share my screen here in a second. I want to definitely cover some stuff as well.
You know what we need? We need like
Mhm.
we're gonna have to hire someone. I need them that
Uh-huh.
like when I stop and then we hand it
Uh-huh.
over to you, it's kind of like on the game shows, like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something, where suddenly like the lights darken and then you get like the little song, do 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 do, and then everything turns red and it's like it's bear time,
Yes, it is. No, this is awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up my charts here. Oops, I added you back, I think. Okay, let me
Yeah.
add myself. Okay. So first, I'm going to start with the weekly chart. I am bringing up what I brought up so many times. This is your 200 EMA. And when price is staying here for too long, it's just not a very good thing. With that said, of course, we had a sweep of the low on those two, right? These two. And now we are closing or really above the 200 EMA. I was watching the price action earlier. It rejected it on a smaller time frame initially, and then of course now it's back above that 200 EMA once again. And so what I will be doing personally, I'm watching how this weekly candle closes. Because if it does close green, then of course, we could get some further upside. How high? I mean, we could probably go to about 75K, right? Some people are saying maybe 80K, and it could. I'm just not. I feel like this is like a trap candle here, and it would be very difficult for the markets to get above this level because there is a lot of traders who bought, right? And even if they bought it, like when you see a candle like this, a lot of times people consider it automatically that it's a reversal candle. Um, so they probably bought it in here as well, right? And so there are definitely a lot of traders that are trapped. And so I don't know how high this will go. Like, will these people get an exit at all? So that's really how I'm watching it, right? Another thing to remember, we had previously here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 candles, right? At this 200 EMA before it kind of came crashing down. Notice how the fourth candle was also a green candle, and it was probably people were probably very excited to see this, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, we had this, we are still above 200 EMA. So when the price action was somewhere around here, people probably thought, okay, we've probably this is it, we bottomed out. And so we are also at the fourth candle right now. So definitely want us to be cautious here. The other thing I want to call out, I was actually talking about this, right? A few breakout trades potentially that I feel could work out. First will be basically this one, right? So the reason why I'm watching this is because these are markets are giving you these really perfect W patterns, and they don't always work out. This was actually perfect. This was a good one here, where you had this one actually took out the lows here, right? Usually if the price was here and it didn't take out these lows, then you probably wouldn't even have the kind of move we had. It would probably just top out here, maybe somewhere around here. But this was a nice little move here. But now I have two other areas. This one, which was too perfect of a move, and then also this one, which again it had pretty awesome moves to the side as well. but these two are definitely the levels where there is going to be a ton of liquidity. This is also like, as you could see, if you draw a pattern like this, you could actually see that it's a major level, right? There is a lot of action that's happening within this range. And so potential breakout trades will be here. Of course, we will be catching some to the upside as well whenever the price confirms on a short entry, like with a nice little M pattern here, which it could be even creating right now. I don't think it's just ready yet. Um, but mid reversal is a thing. We just had a pretty awesome upside move. You could clearly see three pushes to the upside, right? You could see the first one, the second one, and this is like your third move to the upside. And so if you're trading those levels using market maker method, then some sort of a downside here is a possibility. I was hoping actually last night that it would give us this trade, like a breakout trade, and then the take profit was like somewhere around here, which would also give us like a nice little long potentially for maybe riding to the upside here for a little bit. But I'm seeing a lot of gaps still that are like this one here. Price has not retested 800 EMA, and so it was a pretty aggressive move above it. So we'll see. Same with the weekly chart or the weekly open. We are above weekly open right now. And so another potential trade would be like a confirmed trade would be if it was to kind of either it's going to find a support here, right? Or it's going to break. So that would be another potential trade where if it rejects this one, we'll watch for a pattern here and see how it forms. But again, I'm being cautious here with any kind of long opportunities. I am not taking them right now just because the higher time frame is telling me a different story. So we did also, like, one thing that I keep remembering is the fact that we had a very, very ugly yearly close, right? We had a very ugly yearly close. And so with that kind of an ugly close, if we were to go into a much longer bear cycle, which I hope we don't, I hope that we bottom out in October like we are all planning. And I hope that historical data works out beautifully again this time for us. There's a possibility that it may not. And if it doesn't, then price is going to do some things that, we may not have seen before. And so those are things that I'm ready for. It will just tell me that, okay, there are definitely a lot of other things happening. So maybe we don't catch a bottom in October. But again, that's, October is not here yet, so we'll be just watching. For me, the key will be how the weekly candle closes. Does it close green? Because if it does close green, I think we could at least hit this level here, this band. And so that is really what I'll be watching for, is this upper band. Will probably, if it was to close green, this is what I'm targeting. And so let's see how the weekly candle closes. We still have a few days remaining, but I'm definitely going to be watching this very, very, very carefully. The other thing I want to call out on daily chart, this is a pretty complete pattern here too. Like, this is no longer just standing on one leg. If it continued to move up from here, it's now really a proper sort of like a double bottom. But this is also a kind of double bottom that is not the best, because
They're going to come for it later.
Exactly. Especially
Yeah.
if it does close here, right? The daily
Yeah.
closes here,
Yeah.
green like this. What are people going to see here? People are going to see a W, right? This is what
Yeah.
we're going to see. So now you have a
And it is
bottom.
valid. It is valid.
It's valid.
The setup, right? But
It is.
again, it builds liquidity, and like Lady Trader always says, if it's very obvious, they'll come get it later.
Exactly. And so, I mean, this is going to create this pattern if it closes green today. And guess what people are going to see? They're going to see this double bottom on daily. It's a confirmed double bottom for them. For me, it's not, because you know what I was waiting for is if it was to do something like this, where it took the liquidity of this one in a one shot, we recovered and we closed green, then yeah, you're probably looking at, maybe even this level at that point.
Yeah.
But something like this, it's just risky to me. It's too obvious, right? When the markets give you these kind of setups, they don't work out very well. But
I like
people are
how
gonna get their generous
Ash puts it, as like they save liquidity. How it didn't, how it didn't take out that liquidity below. They're saving that liquidity to basically induce longs to then come back and just wreck it massively. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so this is not something that's bullish to me still, right? Because this is a too
Yeah.
obvious of a pattern. You need to see the liquidity taken. Um, and then you could see the upside, right? That's basically how it works generally. And so let's see how it works out here. Um, what I would also say is if it was to close like this, I mean, there will be some nice little breakout patterns again.
Yeah.
Like 62 would become a breakout level to the short, and then of course your stop loss will be here. So then you can kind of see where your take profits are going to be, which is going to be way lower. So there's definitely going to be some of these breakout trades. And the reason why I'm also watching these breakout trades is because these are easy to, automate, easy to kind of create a bot for, and basically just let it do its thing. You don't even have to be
Mm.
involved in it. And so, and they work out really nice. You don't have to kind of, it's like, okay, if it does happen, then it happens. Like, this was one of the trades that I was talking about. um it's basically price never came down here, but if it did, it's definitely going to go here. So it's kind of like one-to-one trade. Now I'm seeing something similar here. It's not like a beautiful clear W pattern, so probably I
Yeah.
won't take this one, but this is one. And so we'll see. I would have, if it was a trade yesterday, it would have been much better. But because it's like you're doing it with, you're basically inducing the longs. People are excited because they see this big candles, and then you retrace it all the way down. There's a lot of people who have their stop losses here. So this is an area of interest, but it needs to get there sooner rather than later. So we'll see how it plays out. But I do see very clear three pushes to the upside, right? 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
This is like
Yep.
very, very clear. And so
Yeah. It's
after
time for a
that,
cool off. Yeah.
yeah, it needs to cool off a little bit. So we'll see. I mean, we are very close to, we hit very, very close to that 70K. Did not really get there. So watching how the daily candle closes. But yeah, well, whenever I see a daily double bottom like this, and you're going to see a lot of retail traders talk about it, that's just not a good sign, because everybody and their neighbors are buying the double bottom. So remember what happened here, right? This was a double bottom too. And then price crashed, and it did exactly give you that one-to-one. So now when it comes down here, it's also going to give us a one-to-one trade. So your stop loss will be somewhere around here, depending on how this pattern is played out. And then we'll have a nice little short entry there too. So I'll be watching for these, because these are like the easiest automated trades. I don't have to be involved in it. Just set it and forget about it. And if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't hit, oh well, I don't have a trade. So we'll be watching that. But yeah, that's really what I have for today. Ethereum, let's actually go look at Solana. Before I actually do that, um, let me go back to this one. Okay, so this is also another thing too. Yeah, this is the one. These fib levels are really, really, really nice. They are working out very beautifully as well. So I'm watching them. This is like your yearly fibs. And if you look at it, price actually came back to it and then found support here. So breaking this fib is going to be important as well, because this is a major, major fib level. And if we were just playing fib, of course, I'll be targeting the next fib, right? Which puts us at about 78. It also puts us at about monthly open, which even if we get there in March, it is last month's monthly open. So definitely an area to watch. The next level here that where I can expect a bounce is going to be this 48 too. Maybe a little bit under it, like 47. We could go a little bit lower, but there's going to be some sort of a bounce here. So these fibs I'm definitely watching very, very carefully, especially as we come to these key levels, right? And so we'll see where we end up here. So that's something. And then of course you had your 800 EMA too, which was not retested on daily. On a higher time
Send it.
frame, I'm not too concerned about retested, huh? Send
Send
it
it.
there.
Yeah. Send it. Yeah. Yeah. Really. And the yearly opens just above. That'd be the best place to crush the hopes and dreams of all the bulls.
All the
Yeah.
bulls, yeah. Send
Yeah.
it there. Tell them that it's all done. Everybody who is bearish is dumb and stupid,
Super
and then
cycle, 5-year
super
cycle,
cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8-year
Yeah.
cycle.
Send
Okay,
send send it up
make
there.
it
Send
8.
it, send it close to 85. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's
It'd
see if
be
it gets
wild.
there.
Yeah, it'd be
It
wild.
would be wild. I just don't
I
know
will
if it
say
will work out this way.
that is kind of like a scenario that I drew up and I shared it. When the heck was this? When did I share this? Friday or Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
watch here. Where the heck is the StreamYard? Here, I'm gonna watch. I'll pull it up. It was this scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
I shared this one, and this was
Oh,
before price even dropped. I shared this when I got short. So I
okay.
played the move down short, right? This was literally my short play that I took
Mm-hmm.
Friday or Saturday. So I played it short, and this is what I was calling. And again, like if you look at if you go back and you look at the post, this was shared before this big red move. This was shared up here at like 68K or something like that. I'll reshare the tweet later, but that's the move down played out pretty close. It went a little bit below where I was thinking. And then, we're about 50% of the move up that I was kind of projecting. I was thinking like a move to 74, which still could happen, with a
Mm-hmm.
pullback to around like 68 to form some support
Mm-hmm.
around 68. And then after that, I think is like an explosive move up to about 80K or so. And then maybe one last push up to get up to about 84, 85 if it can. And then I think it
Mm-hmm.
rolls over epically. I think after that is like your huge move down. I mean, you'd basically be doing like a big channel up here. Obviously like
Ah,
this isn't perfect, but you'd have a move back to like the top of a channel essentially, and then it'd roll over and come back down. So
makes
who
sense.
knows? It's just some squiggly lines. I'll be tracking it for fun just to see how closely it does something like this. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I see Mick here. Hey, Mick. Yep, we're ready
Hey.
to send it. Okay,
That's awesome. Looks good. Send it.
send it over. Okay, so I'll bring up this one again. So,
Yeah.
we'll be watching how it plays out regardless. Let's see.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
too
makes
early.
sense. Makes sense, right? I'm being cautious, of course, with longs,
Yeah, you have to be,
because it's
rightly
not
so.
bottom yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not bottom yet, right? So because sometimes it's like even when Bits is taking these trades, he's taking a trade. He's
Yes.
not buying to hold
Correct.
forever, right? That's not his forever long
I don't
position.
think bear market lows are in. No. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we
Yeah.
are on the same page there. Bear market lows are not in yet. Longs are still dangerous, right?
Yes.
And I'm happy to, like, the higher, like I always, say, the higher it goes, the bigger short position is going to be. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
basically what it is. And so we'll see
Good,
how it
better,
plays out.
best. It's like good. Give me my good, better, best levels. A good short, a better
Yes.
short, and the best short. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Also a breakout long, right? So basically, if you have
you could.
just
Yeah.
like talking about breakout short here, your breakout long, which again will be risky, and I'm not interested in it. Absolutely, like I'm not.
No.
But if you were to take it, then your 1-to-1 will be. Let me find that. Is it? I don't use it enough. There we go. Or is it? Yeah, right here. So your long position will be right here, and so you'll have to adjust it, of course, a little bit, right? Because your
Yep.
stop will be here, and then your take profit will be around here,
No.
which also, by the way, puts you right at daily
I know.
50 EMA.
That's
Like
why I'd
you're,
actually rather play like the pullback. This is where
yeah,
like my preference for those pullbacks, like watch, I'll switch back to mine really quickly because we're talking about
mhm,
the same thing, right? You could play that
yeah,
breakout move up to I have the move up going to what do I have this up at, to like 74, 75. I am
mhm,
much more of a fan of that same trade, but doing it
mhm,
here and having you'll still structure this however you're going to structure it. You'll
mhm,
find somewhere to put it. But me having the confidence of it pulling back and then giving me one more higher low, right?
mhm,
This to me is like kind of the equivalent of what you were saying of like if you're doing a three wave structure, it's like I
mhm,
want to play here, or I want to play in that final one right after I've got some confirmation that
mhm,
it's playing out, right? So
mhm,
why did I hit replay mode? Hold on here. There we go. But yeah, I think we're talking about the same thing. It's like we don't know if
mhm.
this thing is going to go higher. We really don't.
Yeah,
We don't know if
yeah,
it's going to
yeah.
turn around here. Could there be a breakout trade if it goes higher, like Lady Trader showing? Yes, there could be. There also could be a pullback opportunity if it does do something like that, where you could catch
Mhm.
another swing up, and you've got clearly defined risk and structure then as well. So there's lots of ways to do it. There's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, we'll just have to see, I guess, how it plays out. Again, like I said, I'm not really interested in it. I think what Bits was mentioning, that taking the trade off of the retest
Yeah.
of a level, right, on a pullback would probably be a lot safer. But I'm going to be watching this as well. So that's what it is. But again, clear double bottom like this, that's a recipe for a disaster usually. So we'll see how it plays out. There are definitely some key levels that,
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who's saying maybe we get close to 80K, they have good reasons to believe it because there are a ton of levels here. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen. But also on the monthly chart, we had something very similar happen here. Price kind of retraced off of this 50 EMA on monthly, and then the next
Mhm.
candle was down. So we'll see how also the monthly candle closes. We are
Yeah.
also overdue for a green candle though on monthly. It's been
We
a while.
definitely
It's been
are.
what, one,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. We have not had like 6 monthly candles in a row and until like it was 2018 or 2019. It was like way back then.
Mhm.
And so, we had some candles then, but it hasn't happened in a while. So we'll see.
March
But
will be
we are
green. March will be
March.
green.
You're calling for a March green.
I
I
think
mean,
there's a decent
technically,
chance of it. Yeah, I think there's a
yeah,
decent
yeah,
chance. Doesn't have to be
yeah,
super green either. It could be a tiny little
yeah,
body,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes, similar to what we had here, right? We had a bit of a green, 2 green months, right? We had February
Yeah.
green, and then
Yeah.
March was green also in
Like a
2022.
little placeholder green.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah,
Before it
let's take
came
a breather.
crashing down. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we'll see what
absolutely.
happens.
And it also created like this nice breakout trade too,
Yeah.
for people. So, well, this is definitely something I'm watching. I will have to see how the weekly closes,
Yes.
how the monthly candle closes,
Monthly
B.
is
Those are
coming up.
two.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So those two levels are going to be super, super crucial to watch. But yeah,
Yes.
that's really what I
100%.
have for today, Bits. Nothing else. What
Okay.
do you have anything else that you want to bring up?
I was just gonna share this. This is that clip. I found that clip from Monday where I was talking about the soul range. Oops.
Oh, okay.
In
Let's bring it
range
up. This
still.
one?
You've
Yeah.
got a top of the range here, bottom of the range about here. Um, if for whatever reason it cleans up to the downside, it could move back up to maybe the POC, maybe the middle of the range. If you're lucky, maybe the top of the range. So yeah, I look for opportunities just to trade these in either direction. But yeah,
Wow.
that was basically that range on Sol, right? And we covered it here live. It was this
Hmm.
exact range before this dump, right? Which was the little dump I was kind of alluding to. It was like, all right, there's our thing. Could it clean up to the downside? And then I think this was the middle of the range level that I gave, and then we had the top of the range, and it certainly did move to the top of the range. So,
Yeah,
but
no,
it is the
absolutely.
top of the range now, So what do you do at the top of ranges? You look for either breakouts and wait for a way to trade them, or you look for shorts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, exciting times regardless.
Ah, good
Anything
stuff.
else, Fritz, that you want to?
No, that's it. Look, it was a nice, short and sweet session. I think there's a lot of movement. We're getting these are the fun times for me, honestly, is having um good like discourse between educated people that
Hmm.
understand their strategies, and this is the fun stuff to me. It's where I do get a bit competitive.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like a sponge. I'm just soaking up whatever I can
Hmm.
from other people. So yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I'm very much
Absolutely.
enjoying this year. It's a year of building, year of
Yeah.
growth.
Yeah.
I'm 10xing my myself and my skill set this year. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we both bring different strategies to the table,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely incredible. And
It's given the
it's
audience a very rounded, wholesome view of the market, in my opinion.
yep, absolutely. No, that's basically what we want, and I think it's going to be incredible. I also enjoy FOMO Friday because you have so many people
Yes.
that are bringing a lot of different perspectives. So I'm excited for FOMO Friday and to see what Kelvin is thinking when he's looking at the markets, what Bat Price is thinking when
Yeah.
he's looking at the market. William, of course, with his deep end, he's always bringing some alpha. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a really, really awesome discussion on
100%.
um, Friday. Yeah.
It'll
All
be
right.
fun.
Well, thanks
Yeah.
everybody for tuning in. Bix, are you going to be doing a stream later today on your page?
I probably will. Yeah, I probably will. Maybe. Yeah. Let's just say 7 p.m. Eastern is when we'll plan
Okay.
for it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So definitely go and follow Bits if you're not already following him. He will be doing a live stream as well from his account, and
Are
he
you doing
does tech.
Tech Thursday tomorrow?
We're not doing Tech Thursday
No.
tomorrow. No,
Okay. Cool.
no,
All
no,
right.
no.
Okay.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun. For FOMO Friday, we'll have a ton of
Perfect.
stuff to discuss. So let's see where it goes. But yeah, we all love green markets, but just we want it to bottom out so we can get a sustainable upside very
Yes.
soon as well. So, all right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, depending on where you're located. Thank you. I'll see you on Friday.
See you guys.